Okay, guys, I'm sorry I'm not here today. I wish I was. I'm just kind of down and out, and I need a day of rest. So hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. We'll see. So first of all, today's date is 10/18, and our objective is to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines. Oops, sorry. Perpendicular lines. Okay. Parallel and perpendicular lines. We kind of know about parallel lines. We know that if two lines are parallel, they never intersect. You guys know that, right? So we've got three lines here, and they look parallel, but they might not be. So here's a better definition. Write this down, please. So parallel lines are lines with the same slope, right? It's our rise over our run. So it makes sense to me if like two different stairways and one's going up and over, up and over, up and over at the same rate, they'd have to be parallel, right? If one's slightly off, they'd eventually intersect, right? But have to have the same slope. So we know that slope is rise over run. So if I take a look at lines A, B, and C, let's see. What do we know? Lines A. So first of all, let's find the slope of these lines. Slope of these lines. Okay? So let's look at line A first. The easiest way to get line A is I'm just going to walk it, and I want you guys to watch. Let's walk it. I'm going to walk from this point to this point. So I'm going to go down one, right? I'm going to walk it. I'm going to go down one over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I went down one over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So down 1 over 5 is the slope of line A. All right. So let's take a look also at line B. So line B would be, let's see, line B. All right, let's walk it. Let's go from this point to this point. So we'll walk it down, and we'll go down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 1 over 4. These two lines are not parallel. They're not. Different slopes, okay? And then let's finally look at line C. So all I'm doing is walking down the stairs, right? Slope, walking down the stairs. Let's go from the point -3, -4 to 2, 5. So I'm going to go down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So down 1 over 5. So here's what I know. Line A is parallel to line C. We're going to write this like this. We're going to go line A, and I'm going to use this symbol here, parallel to line C. Okay, that's the symbol for parallel. Same slope. Down 1 over 5, down 1 over 5. Okay, so if they have the same slope, they're parallel. These three look parallel, but this one's off by a little bit. That'll eventually intersect these two lines. Okay? All right, example 2. Now, example 2, write an equation of a line parallel to y equals 2x plus 3, passing through the point 5, -4. Well, let's draw a picture. See what this looks like, okay? So draw a picture. I'll put the picture over here. And I got a point at 5, -4. So I got a point. Okay, so that's what I've got a point, 5, -4. And I got a line 2x plus 3. So remember how we graph lines. That's my starting point on the starting line. Remember, that's my starting point on the starting line. So I'll go start at 3. And then my slope is up 2 over 1. So that's the path, the car. So we start at 3. And we go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. So here's my line like this. This is what I have. This is what I know. What I'm looking for is another line. Okay, so what I'm looking for is, let's see, I'll get a different color. I'm looking for a line. I'm looking for this line right here. Okay, see that picture? So these two are parallel. Well, I want the equation. So if I want the equation, and I do have a slope, I have a slope of 2, because this slope also has to be 2. The two lines have to have the same slope because they're supposed to be parallel. I want to find the equation of this line through this point. So what I have is a point slope, okay? I want to find the equation of this line. If I want to find the equation line, I'm going to use the formula we learned on Friday, which is the point slope. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, okay? And, you know, we did this on Friday. Every point has an x1, y1, and here's my m. My m is 2. So let's plug that into my equation. So I'm going to go y minus my y1, which is a double negative, equals m, which is my slope, which is 2, times x minus x1, which is 5. Okay, I'm going to simplify this. I see my double negative, minus minus, so I'll go y plus 4 equals, and I'll distribute 2x minus 10, and then I'll go minus 4, have a y equals a 2x minus 14. That's the equation of that line, which that kind of makes sense because this seems to be going to way down, and it's going to intersect down at negative 14. These two lines are parallel. They are because they have the same slope. This one goes through negative 14, which makes it go through our point. Okay. Moving to example 3. So example 3, we have the equations of these three lines are given. Which lines are parallel? So let's go back to our favorite equation. Remember, y equals mx plus b. Ready? Y equals mx plus b. One more time. Y equals mx plus b. Just a second, I gotta sneeze. Sorry, buddy. This is why I'm home today. All right. So if I need all of these lines to be in the form of y equals mx plus b, I need that because I need to know their slopes. I need to find the slopes. So I need to find the slope of all three of these, right? That's why I need the y equals mx plus b. So to get it to y equals mx plus b, let's solve for y on all three of these. Solve for y. Okay, so to solve for y in line A, right? Well, I'll go minus x. I want to solve for y. 4y equals minus x plus 8. I'm going to put a 1 there, just 1x. It's going to help me out, okay? I'll divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. Now I have a y equals a negative 1/4 x plus 2. Okay, I'm going to circle my slope, okay? All right, that's what's important. If they're parallel, is the slope. All right, now line B, let's solve. So I'm going to go minus x. I have a 2y equals a minus x plus 4. I'll put a 1 there. It's going to help me out. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, and I'll have a y equals a negative 1/2 x plus 2. Okay, now these two lines are not parallel. They are not different slopes. Okay, this one goes down 1/4, this one goes down 1/2. Okay, let's check out line C. Okay. All right, so divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. Have y equals negative 3/2 x plus 3. Whoa, wait a minute. None of these are parallel. Crazy. Well, which lines are parallel? None. None of these lines are parallel because the slopes are all different. We need the same slopes to have parallel lines. Okay, let's turn the page and talk about perpendicular lines. Okay, perpendicular lines. Now we have to be careful. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say have opposite slopes. Okay, now I'll give you an example. It's called, mathematically, the negative reciprocal. I'm going to show you a couple examples. Okay, so write that down. If they're perpendicular, they have negative reciprocals. I'll draw a picture. Well, we'll draw a picture down here so you guys can see it. But negative reciprocals. Write that down. Now, what are we going to do? So take a look at these. If I have one slope and it happens to equal 2/3, its perpendicular slope would be negative 3/2. All right, see what I did? Reciprocal, I flipped it, and I made it negative. Okay, here's another example. If a slope happens to be negative 2, its perpendicular slope would be positive 1/2. There's an invisible one there. So I flipped it upside down. That's the reciprocal, and made it negative. It's already negative, so it becomes a positive. So it's opposite sign and flip. Okay. How about one more? Okay. Let's say the slope is equal to 1. Well, the perpendicular slope would be negative 1. Okay, because 1/1, negative 1/1. Okay. So if we know that it's opposite slopes, let's take a look. So first of all, these two are definitely perpendicular. I know they're perpendicular because the slope of this line is 2/1, and the slope of this line is negative 1/2. Okay, awesome. So if I graph them, start at 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go up 2/3, right? Starting line, starting point, start at 3, up 2/1, and I'm just going to go backwards because same line, right? Just going down the stairs instead. Okay, connect the dots. There it is. Now the other line, okay, we'll start at negative 1. Remember, starting line, negative 1. We'll go down 1/2, downward 2, okay? And we'll go the other direction, okay? If I connect those dots, you can't see that very well, can you? All right, now I'll have to use a different color. Okay, I'll just make that nice and dark. They sure look perpendicular, and I know it, but that little box there, that little box means 90 are perpendicular. And I know, why are they perpendicular? Why? Because the slopes are, not because they look perpendicular, but because the slopes are negative reciprocals. Okay. Now, example 5. Example 5 is a lot like example 2, except we're doing perpendicular. Okay, so let's take a look at example 5. I'll draw a picture first. I like the picture. Helps me out. Okay, so if I have a graph like this, I have a point at negative 3, 5. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's right there. And I got another line start at negative 1. Right, I'm going to graph this line. I'm going to start at negative 1, and I'm going to go down 3/1. I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3/1, down 3/1. So this line's going to look like this. Now the perpendicular line. So okay, you ready? Let's see what we're doing. Here's my line. Start at negative 1. Okay, on my starting line, I go down 3/1, down 3/1, and then I drew it in. Now I want a perpendicular line through this point, so it's going to be this line here I'm looking for. I want this line right here. This is the line I want. Okay, so here's what I have. I want this line. I want the equation, right? I'm looking for the equation. So what do I need? I have a point, and I have a slope, because the slope I want to use is this. Slope of this line is going to be positive 1/3. Okay, I want the opposite. So here's my first line. I want the slope to be opposite of this line, so the slope is going to be a positive 1/3. That's my red line. We'll have that slope to be the opposite slope of this. Okay, so how am I going to get that? Well, I have a point and a slope, and I'm going to use my formula, my point slope formula, which was my y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, all right, now let's go ahead and plug things in. So here's my point, and every point has an x and a y, x1, y1. So I'll write my 5 in for my y1, and I'll put my negative 3 in for my x1, and I'll put my positive 1/3 in for m, because I want the perpendicular line. So I'm going to go y minus 5 equals 1/3 times x minus my negative 3. Okay. All right, double negative, I'm just going to change that to a plus, right? Double negative and I'm going to distribute. So I'm going to have a y minus 5 equals a 1/3 x. Well, 1/3 of 3 is 1, okay? And I'll just go plus 5, and I'll have a y equals a 1/3 x plus 6. So this is the line. This is the equation of that line right here. It kind of makes sense. It looks like it might go through 6, up 1 over 3. Okay. Last but not least, here's our last problem. So if they're parallel or perpendicular, what we need to know is their slopes. Got to know their slopes. So I'm going to go back to my favorite equation, y equals mx plus b. Say it again, y equals mx plus b. All right, so if I want to get all three of these into y, oh, that one's already done. Hey, I like that one. Look at that one. That's already done into y equals mx plus b. I'm just going to circle that. So let's solve for y. All right, I'm going to go minus 4x, a negative 3y equals a negative 4x plus 2. Divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. Y equals a positive 4/3 x minus 2/3. Okay, I don't care about the 2/3. All I care about is this number, the slope. Okay, all right, so here's what I know. A and B are parallel. I know that. So let's check out C. All right, let's check out C. All right, I'm going to go minus 3x because I need to solve for y. Minus 3x. 4y equals a negative 3x plus 4. Divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. Y is equal to negative 3/4 x plus 1. Okay, all right, here's what I know. All right, check it out. These two are parallel, same slope. These two are perpendicular, opposite slopes, and these two are perpendicular. So here's one right. Okay, so I'm going to say on the side, I'm going to say that A is parallel to B. Definitely, same slope. I'm going to say B is perpendicular to C. So I'm going to use this symbol. Watch this. B, see this little symbol? Perpendicular to C. That's my perpendicular symbol. And I'll also say that A is perpendicular to C. Okay, please get this done. Hopefully I'll be here tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be feeling better. But here's what I want you to do. For homework, I want you to do page 104, 105 out of your journals, 1 through 16 all. Okay, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.